I love RPGs. Without a doubt, they're my favorite type of game. They were what I started with. My first video games ever were the Pokemon series. So from the beginning, battling, exploring, gaining experience, living in a world and telling a story, however weak the Pokemon story was what made a video game to me. So, of course, when I could get my hands on a Mario RPG, I jumped at the chance, and that game was Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. I loved that game. I played it for hours, and later when I got Thousand Year Door on my GameCube, that was the pinnacle of gaming for me for quite a long time. Later, when my family got a Wii, I managed to play Paper Mario 64, which is a game that, unfortunately, I wasn't able to play when it came out because I didn't have a Nintendo 64. I loved that game too, just there was so much charm and wit built into the world that I was sad when it ended. But I never got a chance, really, to play Super Mario RPG, the game that started it all. I mean, sure, I had a little bit of experience with it. I remember laying on my bed, laptop on my chest, crab-crawling my way through an SNES emulator, but I booted up Super Mario RPG, took one look at its graphical style, and put it aside. It seemed archaic to me, it seemed ugly, and if I was going to play games on an emulator that I hadn't gotten a chance to play, I wanted to play really good-looking games. Though, to be fair, none of the games I played on an emulator I really played through all the way anyway. So I missed out on that one, but it's the game that kickstarts the whole Mario RPG tradition, and anybody that wants to get into a tradition of any kind, whether it be literature, whether it be art, whether it be games, you should start from the beginning so that you can actually get a sense of where everything is coming from, so that you can understand what built the things that you love. So what will I find here? Well, I don't know. Will I find a timeless classic that should be played from now till time immemorial? Will I find a historical curiosity that people really shouldn't be playing unless you just really want to know where Mario came from? I don't know. Let's take a look. Mario awakens one day to find out that, again, Princess Peach, Toadstool, has been kidnapped by Bowser. Someone decided that letting a princess with a known penchant for getting herself kidnapped sit outside by herself without any bodyguards was a good idea. Mario heads to the castle to save her by punching Bowser in the face, or more accurately, punching a chain from 10 feet away so that Bowser falls to the ground. Just as our hero is about to triumph, however, a sword falls from the sky and stabs Bowser's castle. Mario goes flying into a conveniently placed warp pipe right into his house. So Mario does what every Italian plumber would do in this situation: set off from his house, unequipped with any sword or shield, to rescue a princess from something with obviously more powerful weaponry than his own hammer. Along the way, he runs into Mallow, a marshmallow who thinks he's a baby frog, and they team up to rescue the Mushroom Kingdom from an infestation of Shy Guys, all led by Mac, a member of the Smithy Gang. The Smithy Gang is a collection of sentient weapons from a different dimension who want to take over the world. Why? Dunno. It's not explained. But they're bad, so we gotta stop them. After getting the first star piece, Mario and the Marshmallow head to Tadpole Pond, where they meet up with Mallow's grandfather, Frogfucius. Tapping into his Eastern knowledge, Frogfucius tells our heroes to hunt more Power Stars, that Peach isn't in Bowser's castle anymore, and that, oh, by the way, Mallow isn't a fucking frog. Much shock is had by all. It's in Rosetown, a village under assault by the arrows of Phoebus Apollo, where Mario and Mallow find Geno, a doll taken over by a star spirit with an unpronounceable name. After helping Mario and Mallow get rid of Boyer, a sentient bow with a dialect that's a cross between a Japanese asshole and Yoda, Geno reveals the Star Road is broken, and if it doesn't get fixed, then no wishes will come true. In order to fix the Star Road, Mario has to find all 7 of the star pieces, of which he now has 2 in his possession. The next stop is Moleville, where we get another star piece and see Bowser head off with his army to somewhere. We end up finding him again in front of Booster's tower, an overgrown man-child who just wants to have some fun. By the way, does anyone know if his design inspired Wario or vice versa? I see the family resemblance. Booster wants to marry Peach because that will result in a wedding, which is a big party with cake. And Bowser is having none of that because that's his bitch, damn it, and Mario won't either because, well, that's his bitch, damn it. Bowser and Mario join forces to storm Booster's castle, who manages to escape with Peach and run to what can only be described as the Mario equivalent of the Hamptons, so he can have his wedding. Mario crashes the wedding, saves Peach, and returns the ruler of the Mushroom Kingdom to her rightful place. Until she runs away, so she can join Mario on his quest. That's right, folks, for the two of you who don't know, Peach is a playable party member, and she is a beast at the heels and can hit enemies with a frying pan. One would have thought she'd fight back against Bowser, but hey, she's useful here. And that's all of the party members you get. For the most part at this point, I ran with Bowser and Peach as my main companions, since Mario is required for the party, but I'd swap in Mallow and Geno as the mood struck me. From here, there's not much plot development. We need to get the rest of the stars, and outside of finding out that Mallow is actually a Prince of Nimbus Land, which is currently being ruled by a Cloud Babe regent, nothing really happens. Mario and Co do a little regime change to set things up straight, and from there we go to Bowser's castle, enter Smithy's dimension, kick his ass, and save the world. The credits roll and we see scenes that show how the world is returning back to normal. All in all, it's a basic plot. Bowser is easily my favorite character, as he's shown as an oaf of a Koopa with an image to protect, and you see him wrestle between his desire to rule the whole world and his realization that he needs to help Mario on this particular quest. Mallow grows up a bit from a crybaby to a mature Prince of a Cloud, but since Mallow doesn't appear in any other games, I find it harder to care about him. Geno strikes me as kind of flat. Most of his dialogue consists of, "I know what to do what I say." The concept of a star spirit inhabiting the mortal realm is cool, and I didn't dislike him, but he didn't interest me much. But if you're looking for a complex story with an intricately built world, you aren't going to find it here. It's a serviceable story to keep you moving, with some witty dialogue that makes you chuckle and wanting to discover more characters, but that's about all. Now, I admit that at the end of the game, the writing started to grate on me a bit, but that could have just been real-world stress getting in the way of enjoying an otherwise excellent experience. And I wouldn't knock it too much. So, with the story out of the way, how does the actual game stack up? As in all JRPGs, combat is where you're going to spend a large portion of your time, so let's start there. Super Mario RPG presents a basic turn-based combat system with a twist: timed attacks. As you're about to land a blow, you can press the A button to score some extra damage. Same with defense. As an enemy is about to land a hit on you, you can either press the A button or the B button to block the attack, taking reduced damage or no damage at all. There are some attacks that either can't be blocked, or I really suck at blocking, which is completely possible, mind you, but for the most part, this is a great way to keep the player focused. While Final Fantasy games use the ATB system to keep the player on their toes, rushing to get out that next attack or item before the enemy moves again, Super Mario RPG's timed attack system allows the player to be engaged while also taking their time to strategize. It's a feature that survives into the Paper Mario and Mario & Luigi games, and I'm very grateful for that. In terms of impact on the franchise as a whole, this is one of the most important. All of that doesn't mean the combat is hard, however. I only died once, and that's because I was completely unprepared for a monster to come out of a treasure chest, and I didn't feel like putting up with the effort to slay it. I did come close near the beginning of the fight with Smithy, but once he recovered and I learned the enemy's mechanics, it was smooth sailing. Combat isn't difficult, it can just be tedious against certain enemy types if you have poor party composition, or you're trying to preserve flower points, this game's equivalent to mana. That combined with a little too frequent enemy encounters in the final stages of the game made the end of the game, to me, a bit of a slog that I only powered through so that I could say, yes, I did beat this game. But for the majority of the game, enemy rates are fine, and combat is enjoyable. Now, outside of combat and cutscenes, Mario will be spending the rest of his time in towns and in dungeons. There's not much exploring beyond that, as the world map is more akin to Super Mario World's stage select screen, but within each location you can find little side quests or secrets that make exploration worth it. Talking to the residents of each town fleshes out the world a little bit, and sometimes they give you helpful advice for the upcoming dungeon or, in rarer occasions, overpowered equipment. In the dungeons you can find treasure chests with items, monster boxes that will give you good accessories, or my favorite, a star, which renders you invincible to combat, killing the enemy on contact, but you still get the experience. That is a load of fun, and I kind of wish they had more of these in the later dungeons. I get that it'll probably make it a bit too easy, but kicking the crap out of these baddies with no effort at all is honestly a satisfying experience, and I love this feature. So, you battle things, you get experience points, and you level up. But what does that do for you? On each level up, all of your stats increase, and then you get a choice between physical attack and defense, magic attack and defense, or HP to give a bonus to. On the surface, this is a fantastic idea, as it allows me to form these characters to my playstyle. However, on closer inspection, you can't really do that. Each bonus has a route that it really wants you to go. If I can get an extra point in physical attack, an extra point in magical attack, but 6 extra points in HP, the min-maxer in me is going to go to the HP route. It's simply more efficient, but it's annoying when I want to, say, make Mallow a super overpowered magic user, but the game really wants me to make his punches hit harder. Again, you can put points into whatever you like, but I personally hate the waste of efficiency this system can cause. Like the rest of the game, equipping your characters is simple enough while providing just enough depth to not bore someone familiar with other RPGs. Each character has 3 slots: weapon, armor, and accessory. Weapons and armor are unique to each character. Mario can wear shirts, but not pants, only Mallow can wear pants. But the accessories are shared between all characters except for maybe one, which allows Mario to jump on anything. These accessories can do things like doubling the amount of money or experience you get, or preventing certain status conditions. It's great to have the option to negate a status effect when the dungeon is filled with them, like these fuckers who turn everyone into mushrooms. But to be honest, I kind of just equipped and forgot. It's not a system that's necessary to get deep into in order to beat the game, but it's there if you want it, and I like that. Now, oftentimes, JRPGs will introduce mini-games to break up the monotony, especially in this generation. This is by far the worst feature of the game in my opinion. Sliding down a waterfall to get coins is kinda meh. This minecart can go fuck right off with its lack of tight controls, and Yoshi's version of DDR racing is just something I could not get the hang of. Maybe it's just me, but I did not have fun with the diversions Super Mario RPG offered. Luckily, you only have to do them once, or not at all. Now, I mentioned before that the visuals of the game turned me off as a kid. I agree with my former self that at first look they might seem dated, but this time around I quickly got used to them and even found it charming. Nintendo was going for the same pre-rendered 3D model look like Donkey Kong Country, which, in my opinion, did it in a way that keeps its charm 20 years later in a way that Super Mario RPG doesn't, but on the whole, it works. Character models are expressive, enemies look like they should, and the isometric viewpoint makes the game look like it wouldn't have been out of place completely on the Nintendo 64. Enemy designs, especially of the Smithy Gang and Booster, are very well designed, bringing a smile to my face if not outright laughter, and each locale has a recognizable identity and feel to them. Now, where the visuals are somewhere between okay and good, the soundtrack is great. Many of these themes find their way into other Mario games, and they often had me beating my foot to them or humming along as I was playing. This song from Land's End is easily my favorite, and there were no parts of the soundtrack I thought were bad. It's rare to say that Mario games have bad sounds, but this one is a notch above the rest. So, with all of that said, what's my final verdict? What's my judgment on this game? Super Mario RPG is not a game to be avoided by any means. Anybody who plays it, they're going to have a good time. If you really want the classic RPG experience, yes, go play this game. If you really want to see what made the RPG series the way that it is today, yes, go play this game. If you want to be able to just beat a game in a week, yeah, go play this game. But if you're really looking for the creme de la creme of RPGs, if you're really looking for the better Mario RPGs, I mean, it may seem unfair to say, but Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, Paper Mario 64, they take what made this game great and they polish it. They make it better. They make it more enjoyable. And it was already enjoyable in this game, but they make it more enjoyable. I would probably be singing a different tune if there was a Super Mario RPG 2, like Paper Mario 64 technically is, or was in the beginning. But the universe has never been continued. The characters, Mallow, Geno, they're never really revisited again. So, if we're just looking at a gameplay perspective, if we're just looking at it from a story that is entertaining on its own, I gotta tell you to go play the other games, to play the later games that'll give you a better time. But in no way does this mean that Super Mario RPG is a bad game, and I'm really glad that I played it. And if you're looking for the classic experience, I implore you to go ahead and play this game. Am I completely wrong? Am I just an idiot blasting off with completely wrong deductions? Or do you completely agree with me? Or somewhere in between? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments. But until next time, guys, have yourselves a great night and keep playing.